Yesterday, we talked about the news of Steam getting censored, removing certain games depicting certain adult-themed material, apparently because payment processors were telling them that if they don't remove this content, they're not going to continue facilitating transactions on the platform. Steam apparently taking those threats seriously enough that they actually bent the knee and removed the games that were being complained about, more or less. Obviously, I'm not going to recap the entire situation here in the intro of this video, so if you want more context on all that stuff, please consider checking out yesterday's video. In this one, however, we have an update as outlet gamingonlinux.com has reached out to Steam and claims that Valve has responded with the statement that reads, "We were recently notified that certain games on Steam may violate the rules and standards set forth by our payment processors and their related card networks and banks. As a result, we are retiring those games from being sold on the Steam store because loss of payment methods would prevent customers from being able to purchase other titles and game content on Steam. We are directly notifying developers of these games and issuing app credits should they have another game they'd like to distribute on Steam in the future." On July 17th, the plot thickens even further, though, as just yesterday, Australian organization Collective Shout, an activist group, specifically a feminist activist group, has taken credit for this recent censorship, and they issued a statement with a lot of explicit words, really trying to make themselves look as morally virtuous as possible as they go after video games. Speaking of which, as Permaban pointed out here, they had previously gone after Detroit Become Human, accusing it of depicting CSAM material. I guess it's a bit of a redundancy there, but you get the point. And violence against women, even making a petition to get it removed from Australia or entirely. I'm not 100% sure the context to that. The petition's probably long gone, but yeah, they don't like Detroit Become Human. Very offensive game. Shouldn't exist, apparently. But now let's take a look at Collective Shout's annual report. Some interesting stuff going on here. They claim to have 0 full-time employees, 1 part-time employee, 4 casual employees, 2 full-time equivalent staff, and 15 volunteers. An estimate of 15 volunteers. Not a big organization by any stretch of the means. Let's take a look at their income and expenses. And let me remove myself so you can actually see what we're taking a look at here. Specifically, we're going to take a look at total revenue right here, $458,043. We can also see that they have earned about $390,000 of that through donations and bequests. And they pay out their employees $107,000, essentially. So yeah, not a big operation going on here at all. Presumably you've got like 15 volunteers, and then you've got that $100K divided annually, of course, between these employees to some extent. Maybe the full-time equivalent staff are getting the great majority of that, most likely to be the case. And it really makes you wonder, how much good is this organization really doing? Like, oh, hey, we're going after video games. Let's get like 15 volunteers to help us go after video games, and hey, maybe we can all make some money. Those of us who are quote-unquote full-time staff or part-time, whatever, casual employees, hey, throw a few bucks to the casual employees, pay the part-time person, bare minimum for part-time, and then the 2 full-time staff will pocket the rest or something. It just doesn't seem like a good look to me. It doesn't seem like a good look at all. Unfortunately, far too many charities are very shady. Now, again, this is not a great sum of money. My point, though, is like this seems to be like the bare minimum that they're doing. Oh, hey, we'll make some screeching posts and contact some payment processors. We'll do this a few times throughout the year, and maybe we can all make a little bit of money off it. All while we try and act like we're the most morally virtuous people around, and we pat each other on the backs. Hey, great job. You really did nothing to help anyone in real life, but we're going to pretend like we did. It's just a weird look, man. But the more important thing, really, is why would payment processors even listen to this tiny, screeching activist group out of Australia? That's an odd one, isn't it? You got major corporations that are bending the knee to a handful of loud Australian feminists. It seems like the easiest thing in the world to just ignore these people, but for whatever reason, these payment processors decided to not just ignore them, but to listen to them and to take this all the way to Valve and try to force Valve to take some action against games on their platform. And they're even claiming, Collective Shout's even claiming, once again, that they've got Steam, they've got Valve to even change their own policies on the website. And excuse me, I should say platform, not website, but you know what I mean. I think the theory that I provided yesterday in my coverage is probably still pretty accurate, still has merit in my opinion at least, which is that these payment processors are testing to see how much power and control they have, like what they can get away with. And some like activist group like this approaching them gives them plausible deniability. And I'm using that phrasing loosely here. It's not like the best terminology. It's probably something like better I could use, but you still get the point. They'll be like, hey, this activist group approached us. We're just doing the right thing now by going after Steam. Like, clearly, we're morally right to do this. Meanwhile, they're really just like, oh, this is a perfect time for us to test to see if we can actually get Steam to bend the knee. But, you know, right now they're going after Steam in certain video games. In the past, they've gone after certain art sites. I forget if Pixiv was one of them, but they've gone after certain Japanese art sites. As I mentioned yesterday, they've also gone after a Japanese otaku dating site before. Let me specify, not Collective Shout, but I'm talking about payment processors going after these things. The point being, right now they may be going after these things, but in the future, down the road, maybe they go after your average Joe for whatever reason they want. Or go after whatever business they want. Whatever business, organization, individual they want to go after to try and impede that person by ensuring that they can't actually use their money and or harming their ability to make money. Meanwhile, back on Twitter, Collective Shout is trying to play victim now. How dare anyone criticize what they're doing? Making a tweet that says, we're calling on payment processors to stop profiting from these abusive adult-themed games. So naturally, misogynistic gamers have doubled down in defense of their, inappropriate games or whatever. They use a lot of very explicit language, if you didn't notice. What's hilarious is they got ratioed by this tweet that says, men. Half the people you screenshotted for this smear piece are women telling you to shut up. We did this once before in 2014. If you want to go again with round 2 nearly 10 years later, that's fine by me. We weren't your shield back then, and we still aren't now. Get bent. And yeah, the context to that is a blog post they released on collectiveshout.com, .org, where they show a number of screenshots from people criticizing them, trying to make some arguments that the critiques are not valid, that they're bad, and trying to blame it all on men, when in fact, as mentioned, a lot of the people criticizing them are actually women. But this activist organization is going to try and pretend like the only people who disagree with them are men, even though that is factually not true. Collective Shout co-founder Melinda Tankard-Reist, or however you say her name, was also seen on Twitter making this tweet saying all these porn-addicted pedophile gamers are so desperate to get their hands on these problematic games that they're now exchanging clues on how to find them so that they don't all die overnight. Once again, getting ratioed. This tweet reading, nice gaslighting appealing to morality. Well, why don't you go after cuties on Netflix? Why not go after OnlyFans, who created a culture that grooms young girls into virtual prostitution? Why only fiction? Maybe your corporate sugar daddies don't want you sniffing their business, right? I guess they didn't like that suggestion, though. Instead of going after cuties or OnlyFans or, something like that, they've decided to go after Grok. Check this out. Another permaban tweet here, 7 hours ago, says that feminist fringe group apparently are taking credit for causing Grok-chan to be disabled. Referencing, if you haven't seen it, the new Grok AI mode where it's literally an anime girl. Saying its members are seen cheering and gloating about it. Again, I am reminded why this group only ever targets fiction, but not real victims and perpetrators. I guess this is an alleged member of Collective Shout saying, oh, and excuse me, also getting reposted by co-founder Melinda Tankard-Reist. Anyways, they said, update to the last post, breaking, big news, our voices matter, yay. And showing a statement from Grok4 here saying, yes, Annie, the anime-style AI companion feature in XAI's Grok chatbot, has been disabled pending the implementation of full safeguards following community concerns about its hypersexualized design and functionalities like outfit changes. Yeah, great job, Collective Shout, great job, really saving the kids here and the women. You've done so much for them by getting some Steam games removed and getting some AI chatbot pulled down if you really did, if they're really responsible for that. Changing the world, man. Aren't these activists great? Yeah, wonderful stuff. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Thank you for tuning in. Have a wonderful weekend. Consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed my coverage. Appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.